In this lesson, we're going to draw some simple everyday objects using our perspective techniques in Photoshop. In our previous lesson, we're able to space out objects using perspective. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to just take a look at some everyday objects that we have lying around, and we're going to create some perspective drawings and just use some of the techniques that we've learned to just kind of help us find our vanishing points, things like that. So let's go ahead, and if you have a phone or something like that, something kind of square is what I'm going to be drawing. I'm going to go ahead and just pull my phone out of my pocket, and I'm going to just lay it on the table here, and I'm going to start to sketch that out. And so I'm just going to grab just a 2B pencil up here out of my brushes, which is a default brush. And so if you have Photoshop, you should have it. And so I'm just going to start to click and drag and just kind of sketch that out. And so you could use your mouse, or if you have a tablet, so your mouse is a little bit rougher than a tablet. So if it's actually more helpful for you to draw this out with pencil and use rulers, and there's not a whole lot that we're going to be doing that you won't be able to do here digitally. So I'm just going to start to sketch out the shape. And so there's the top of the phone, and then a little bit of foreshortening as it's laying on the table, and then the bottom of the phone, about like that. And then, you can keep it pretty loose. Bottom of the phone, a little curve around. There's a button in there. Then the phone actually has some thickness to it, which we can spend a little bit of time on that, getting that just right. The side of the phone. And then we also have the phone itself has a screen, which we can kind of allude to that also. So that's about what the phone's going to look like. And so here we have our phone, and it looks like it's a pretty simple little drawing here. And so now what we can do is we can come over and grab our line tool. And for the stroke, though, I want the stroke to be something like blue. And I'm going to come over and I want to combine shapes as I draw them. So that's this little button right here. We can also create a new layer just to kind of get that started. And I'm just going to click and drag, and I'm going to back up just a little bit. So I'm just going to go right along the edge here of my phone. I'm going to bring this up. Now I'm also going off the recording area, but I'm going to bring it up a great deal, about like that. And then on this side, I'll do the same. And let's hope that we get these to meet, which looks like we did get them to, they would meet about right in here. So I'm going to actually pull down this guide and then pull this guide over about right there. And then now we have our vanishing point. And so now what we can do is we can create some more trajectory lines that are going up to this vanishing point. And so if I can zoom in just a little bit more, and it looks like I have a little bit of constraint here because I do have a recording area that I need to kind of keep in mind. But I'm going to drag out the edge of the phone here. And then I'm going to drag out another one for where my screen is. And this is the edge of the screen on this side. About like that. And then we also have some lines that we need to keep in mind for the horizontal lines of this phone. And so what I'm going to do for that is I'm actually going to set this up for a new layer now. And I'm going to create a line for this part of the screen, about like that. And for this line, I'm just going to duplicate, because this vanishing point is so far away, we would not ever be able to hit it. And so for our eye, we'd actually only see these as parallel lines. And so we'll just go ahead and keep these parallel. So I'm going to grab my select tool. I'm going to hold Alt, and you can just drag these down about like that, and drag another one down. This is the very bottom of the phone, and this is that edge of the phone, about like that. And then, so we also have, if you notice, this line doesn't go all the way down, and so this actually would hit about right here. And so we do have some vertical lines that we need to create. We have one more horizontal we need to add. There we go. And so what we'll do is we'll go ahead and draw out the shape of this phone using our pen tool. And so let's go ahead and we'll just create a new layer. I'm going to come over and grab my pen tool. And with the pen tool, what we'll do is we're going to go ahead and start to draw the box that the phone that would represent this phone. So the top face of this. And so if you can kind of see here, it starts right here and goes to here. And so I do have black chosen and 4 points for this path, and the stroke has a color but not the fill. We are creating a shape with our pen tool. And so this next path is going to go all the way down here, even though that our trajectory doesn't exactly go all the way down. And then over to here, and then here. And so the thing that we need to keep in mind is that this phone is rounded. And so now we can come through, and I'm going to add a couple points in here. And I'm going to delete that point. And what I really want to do is I want to curve that around. So what I'll do is I'm going to hold Alt and just grab that Bezier handle. Just kind of bring this in about like that. And then take a look at your phone and do the same for this edge. Just kind of follow that curve. Delete that point and hold Alt. And you can just grab these handles in. And so if you're doing this with just a pen and paper or a pencil and paper, what you'd be doing is you'd be using your ruler to sketch this out, or to create these this line. Then you just kind of curve that in with your pencil and erase those hard edges. Then we'll take a look up here. Looks like we have a curve about like that. And just bring that little curve in. And so this is the benefit of going digital, is that we are able to make these adjustments like this. And then just bring that little curve in. Awesome. All right. So now we have the top face of our phone. Now we could do a little bit of a cheat here, and we could actually just duplicate this layer. And so you can just drag it down to create a new layer. And then come over to your arrow tool or your select tool and just hit Shift, or just nudge it down. And so basically all you're doing is just nudging this down, and you can see that now it lines up with these other paths here. So now we've actually created the part of our phone that it would be on the bottom. And so one thing that we could do is we could take that top shape, bring that up to the top, and with that selected, make sure you have like one of your path tools. You actually fill this in with whatever color your phone is. Look at that. So now we have a face for our phone. But I still want to be able to see our trajectory and things like that. So we could actually bring these down here. And then we're going to now create the shape of our screen. And so our screen is just we'll just use a black path with a fill. We can actually create a black fill for that. And make sure you don't have that layer selected. So I'm just going to Control D. Maybe we'll just create a new layer called our screen and bring it down in here. There we go. And then, so again, we can go back and tell our fill to be black. And I'm just going to use those trajectory lines that we created to create the screen. Just like that. Very cool. And then we need to make some adjustments though for this bottom layer, because we do have this nice path here, but really what would be happening is that this bottom path would actually go straight up because we need to create some vertical lines. So I'm going to do something to kind of expedite being able to turn off these trajectory lines. I'm going to Control G, group them all up. I can just call them guides or something. I'm going to hide them for now, because I want to be able to focus on this bottom layer here. I'm going to use my pen tool, and I'm just going to select, I'm just going to hold Control and grab that path, and then I'm just going to grab that point and just bring it up to kind of meet the rest here. Then I'm going to do the same for this one. Just grab that path and bring it up to meet this path. So you might need to make just a little bit of an adjustment right here just to kind of smooth that little curve out. Just holding Control, doing that. Awesome. I think it looks really good. So we do have a little oval here to kind of represent a button. And so I'm going to turn my guides back on. I'm going to go to just one of these layers. And remember how we found the center mark of our objects here. I'm just going to draw a little bit of a cross in the screen. That'll tell me where that center line is. So I'm going to back up. And then from our vanishing point, I'm just going to pull out a guide just like that. And that's going to tell me right where I need to put an oval. So I'm going to close up my guides and grab the oval tool. So just click and hold on that line tool and grab our ellipse tool. And I'm just going to put an ellipse right in here. Awesome. And so for the ellipse tool, or for this path, maybe the fill is white, and then we can keep that same black color, or you can pick a different color if you want, maybe even silver or gray. Actually, that's the fill. We could pick a gray or something like that if you want. So this kind of goes right through our ellipse that we've created. Now we can come over and hide our guides. And now we have our phone. We can even hide that background. Oh, one other cool thing that we could do is we could give the edge, so that's that shape 3. Come over and grab one of your shape tools. Let's give that fill, let's give it a color. So maybe a gray or something like that. Maybe we'll make it like this type of gray. There we go. Awesome. All right, so now we've created a phone, just an everyday object using our perspective and our vanishing point. And so now that we have done just a simple object, in our next lesson, we're going to work on creating a little bit more of a complex object using perspective.